Wow, folks. I mean, what can we say? Trump does it again. The president has announced that he is suspending all immigration to the United States in response to the coronavirus, as well as in an effort to protect American jobs. That's right. President Trump has gone and done the once unthinkable. He's officially halting any and all immigration in the United States. We're going to take a look at the president's executive order, and we're going to see how it's nothing less than one of the final nails in the coffin of a dying left-wing globalism. You're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Awesome to be with you as always. If this is your first time here at this channel, we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events and some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, where we get to celebrate each and every single day the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism, the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. This is your white pill channel. Now, before we get into Trump's mortal blow against globalism, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the Backup Solar Bank. In the midst of this whole emergency situation we find ourselves in, one of the best things you can invest in for your protection when the lights go out is what's called a solar power bank. It's a backup power bank that's powered by the sun. It allows you to charge up to 2 devices at once, and you'll never have to waste money on batteries again. Now, limited supply lasts, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. So don't wait. Click on the link below right now and give your family and yourself the gift of power anywhere in the world. Click on the link below or visit backupsolarbank.com and use promo code Turley15 to get 15% off. You'd be glad that you did. All right, let's dive right in here, gang. President Trump has indeed announced on Twitter last night that he will be signing an executive order temporarily suspending immigration in the United States. The tweet reads, "In light of the attack from the invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of our great American citizens, I will be signing an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States." Now, this very, very bold move by the president comes on the heels of a recent Ipsos USA Today poll that found that over 80% of Americans support halting immigration. You heard that right. 80%. Let that hit you. When we are polling at 80% support for anything today, I mean, think it through. That's stunning. That means all Republicans, all independents, and a sizable number of Democrats are all in favor of locking down our borders and suspending all immigration. By the way, in terms of that significant amount of Democrats, we've talked about this before in other videos, but African Americans, Black Americans, poll the highest of any other demographic group in terms of supporting the suspension of all immigration. So Blacks vote on average 90% Democrat, yet they are perhaps the staunchest supporters of nationalist populist border security among any and all racial demographic groups in the nation. Very interesting. I think this is one of the reasons why the Democrats are so freaked out about constantly calling Trump a racist. They're doing everything they possibly can to scare and intimidate Blacks and other racial minorities to keep them voting Democrat, because they know if they lose 15% of Blacks, the Republicans, then the Democrats are officially consigned to a permanent minority party. And now with the total suspension of immigration, even their hopes of recruiting Latinos and Asians for their cultural Marxist politics are dashed. Indeed, nothing has dashed the hopes and dreams of cultural Marxist left-wing globalists like this coronavirus pandemic. And I don't think anything proves this more than Trump's immigration suspension order. Again, we've talked about this on other videos, but it really did seem from the very beginning of this pandemic that the nationalist populist trends that were already operative for several years prior to the pandemic were only going to end up going into hyperdrive. The virus would serve only to accentuate and further intensify and hasten the dynamics moving the world towards nationalist populist norms. I've said it before, I put it this way. The coronavirus has made nationalists of us all. As much as the corporatist globalist media, the mainstream Marxist media, as much as they're doing everything they can to save and hold on to globalism, to spew out their Chinese Marxist propaganda every hour of the day, despite all of their best efforts to hold on to Obama globalist dreams, globalism is collapsing quite literally everywhere. Keep in mind, it was already collapsing, which we on this channel have been analyzing for the past 3.5 years. But the coronavirus has served to only intensify these trends. Think about it. Very few politicians are sounding like champions of globalism today. If just a couple of months ago I told you that a North American leader has just issued travel bans on virtually all nations and his last name begins with the letters TRU, you'd be shocked to know that I'm talking about Trudeau. We are living in a time when virtually everyone has become a nationalist populist, at least when it comes to border security. Now, while not all nations have suspended immigration like Trump is doing, they nevertheless have imposed at least some form of travel ban. And it's important to realize that travel bans are a unique characteristic of nationalist populist sentiments. Just recall how leftists flipped out when President Trump issued his original travel ban against travelers from Chad and Iran and Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Do you remember? They called it the Muslim travel ban. The Marxist mainstream media called it that to highlight what they consider to be the inherently racist and xenophobic nature of the ban. Or think of when Trump originally issued the travel ban against China on January 30th. 31st, and Pelosi and Schumer and Biden all freaked out that this was nothing more than a continuation of Trump's war on immigrants. Biden has said flat out he would not have imposed that travel ban. And this is because travel bans had, up until that point, been seen as solely expressions of nationalist populist sentiments, what the media likes to call the far right or the radical right. And so this is why you're seeing article after article after article out there, usually written by lamenting liberal leftists, that the coronavirus is destroying globalism. There's going to be very little left that is recognizably globalist after all this is done. Nation after nation are putting up their respective walls, as it were, reinforcing their borders in an attempt to keep their populations immune from the virus. And this is why you have now world figures like Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who are already declaring the globalist world order effectively over. And it is time for world leaders to come together and rebuild what's increasingly being called a post-globalist world. And with 80% of populations, like here in the United States, approving of an all-out complete suspension of immigration, we are now seeing nationalist populist sentiments transcend politics in ways we could not even have imagined literally a few months ago. And as Trump's tweet mentioned, now that we're all nationalist populists, that means that we're now all economic nationalists. This freeze on immigration, this executive order suspension, is to further protect American jobs. Now that we have this massive unemployment as a consequence of the shutdown, Trump is making sure that all jobs, first and foremost, go to the citizens of the nation. In this respect, there are already calls to guarantee that all future pharmaceuticals will be manufactured here in the United States. Indeed, anything integral to our national security will have to be domestically manufactured. India has already taken steps on that. They require a certain percentage of all products sold within India to be manufactured in India. Even the globalist par excellence, President Macron of France, is talking about bringing manufacturing back home. That should make the Yellow Vest protesters happy. Would that not be the single greatest conversion you've ever imagined, next to the Apostle Paul, right? Emmanuel Macron, he transforms into Marine Le Pen. Can you imagine the next presidential election in France in 2022 with Macron and Le Pen both arguing who is more nationalist populist? Let that hit you. But that, of course, is the politics of a new conservative age. That age has just gotten a massive boost in terms of its realization coming forward into time by virtue of this virus. I mean, we just talked about this in yesterday's video. 53% of Italians want to leave the European Union or the Eurozone. 53%. And we can expect that number to go even higher because the last poll prior to that one found that 36% want to leave the EU. So there's a clear trend of rising support for leaving the EU among Italians, among the French, and more pundits are coming out and saying that the EU itself is on the verge of collapse. It's literally teetering on the brink as we speak. Gang, a new post-globalist conservative age is indeed rising in ways we could not have even imagined a few months back. And with President Trump's latest ordinance banning immigration entirely to our nation, together with its 80% support among the American people, we are seeing nothing less than the nationalist populism that we so love and support winning, and winning. Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on the massive protests that are erupting all over the world against the coronavirus lockdowns. And I get into the real reason for the protests. I think you'll find it quite fascinating. So make sure to click on the link and I'll see you over there. God bless.